So Dirk, you mentioned about some challenges beforehand and going through a bit of a restructure. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so we had some challenges internally, how we deal with each other within the team and also how we deal with the people in the business. And we changed our structure, and what I incorporated in the structure was the values that we have as Brisbane Airport. We call it the 4 C's. It's courage, communication, collaboration and care. And we translated that into the behaviors that I wanted the team to have. Technology people quite often are not so, kind of communication people. They like to sit behind the desk solving problems. But one of the things was that we have a customer-facing or customer-focused a team. So that meant that I told them that you get away from your desk and you actually talk to people.
Face to face.
Face to face. You go out, and if you sit behind your desk too much, that something is wrong. And it's of course the type of business that we are. We're not a managed service provider as most, because our colleagues that we are supporting are actually, at a walking distance quite often to do so. And incorporated that, actually you saw the change happening, and it wasn't a structure that is like an off-the-shelf structure that you got advice from Gartner. And I think as a leader you shouldn't care. It's more about what you think fits. Discuss it with people that you trust, and there's not the same people that continue to say yes to you. The people that trust, that actually challenge you in your thinking and shape your thinking, and I think that helped a lot for us.
Okay. To kind of go back into that before we move forward, if you don't mind me asking, I suppose with the customer-facing component of it, how do you kind of manage that? Is that more kind of going, okay, so 2 people out of the team, every issue that comes in that you're close to somebody, go and have a chat with them, or is it pretty much any issue that comes in, you get off your desk and move and have a conversation with that individual?
No, I leave it more up to the individual themselves, because yes, there are portions of your work that require a lot of thinking and problem solving that you need to do behind your desk, but there's always that one thing where you have to ask someone something or do something, and just take that extra effort to make that a personal thing. Yeah. And that helps a lot. That helps the person a lot to grow, even emotionally, but also have a better relationship with others. And that getting behind your desk is also within the team itself, right?
It's quite interesting that you talk about that, because we've also taken the principle that the values, for a long time businesses had things written on the walls which were their values, and they were one-word things like trust, respect, integrity. And these are all really important things, and we call them permission to play, right? So it's a permission to play that you're a trustworthy person and you have respect for others, etc. But where we found we really were able to step things up is when we started to describe our values as a set of behaviours, because it also gives your staff a common language about what is and is not acceptable. So during the recruitment process, we actively look for people who already have that kind of behavioural pattern in them. But then also once we induct people, we talk them through in detail those behaviours, and then it gives people a common language to hold each other accountable. And so it's quite interesting to hear that you've been through that process, because the values that we talk about that are important in our business is, being first to put up your hand and take ownership, right? And that's that empowerment. So we empower people to take ownership over things, to be able to have a growth mindset to learn new things. I mean, it's IT, it's changing all the time. The technologies we work on today may not be the same tomorrow. We all have to be able to take on new things. To have genuine care for the welfare of others is one of our behaviours as well. We want people to display that genuine care. And there are others that we go into, but one of the really interesting things is when you have that common language and you take your whole team on that journey, then it doesn't mean that only one person owns that and chaperones that. Everybody becomes part of making that a reality. And that encourages that kind of
and also celebrate those instances where the individuals that actually are successful in doing this with the rest of the team saying, see, it's not bad when it happens. It makes everybody feel good and look good. Empathy is a big thing that I keep on pushing, that if you say no to a customer about something, just imagine what it means to that person. Sometimes like, oh, would you like that answer if you would, and don't think about, oh, it's my responsibility, my KPI is to do X, Y, Z. No, think about what does it actually mean to the other individual. And we have had a program of works to roll out the whole Office 365 suite, including laptops and always on VPN. It was like a program of 12 projects over a period of 6 to 7 months. And our focus was on technical quality to make sure that first impression should be right, but there was a much bigger focus on the actual engagement with people, and small things like we had some spare pink vests, like the reflection vests, and the people were out in the business helping people. They were wearing those pink vests. That is now a thing. The pink vest thing means that is someone who helps. So if there's anything out there now, people are wearing the pink vest and go out in the business and helping people. It makes them feel good, and it makes the business feel good about IT. Because I think we have really changed the way we're looked at within Brisbane Airport. In our IT department, we are specifically in our current environment where we have to change a lot in working from an office environment into working remotely, back in your houses, etc. Where the technology is not only working, but the support that the whole team is now giving, the attention, project managers who are helping people to install things, for instance, it is so much appreciated, and specifically in times like this, that helps a lot.
Yeah, and that's a really interesting point about that transition, about understanding what's important in terms of the values, the structures in the business, not just what's my job description. Because in a changing environment, and we're in a challenging and changing environment now, but it's not the first time and it won't be the last time. So how do you as a team actually get really clear about what's important right now, managing the short term and managing long term to be able to pivot and adjust? And when you have that core set of values, what's important to us, why do we exist, and changing that around the values has meant that your team have been able to very quickly pivot into that mechanism. And that's a great story. And all of a sudden, IT is no longer behind the scenes. You're actually there as a true business partner.
Exactly, because let's say old school IT would have been things have to be secure on-premise because we are a critical infrastructure company. You have to be safe, and if you put things in the cloud, yes, there are more features, but there's a risk of leaking. Imagine that we wouldn't have the infrastructure that we had now. The cure would have been worse than the actual disease.
Oh, absolutely, and that's the thing. I mean, we deal with technology issues every day, but when you have a team that is aligned and we've got a plan around the technology, it really allows you to focus on people and process as well, because you can't have one without the other. You have to be able to deploy, enable, and support your business through technology, but you have to have the people and process aligned. Now, if you don't have that core values, if you don't know why you're in it, if you don't have that team environment, it's very, very hard to pivot and to leverage, because technology is just a thing. Ultimately, we're all in people businesses, and particularly in IT support. I mean, what we're talking about here is it is a people business. It just happens to be that our tools of the trade, we're not plumbers, we're not electricians, we're not builders, we're IT, but which means the tools of the trade we have are fixing computers, but adding value, delivering services, understanding why our business is in business or our customers are in business is actually the context and the lens. And in terms of coming full circle to what makes a great team player, it's almost the ability to see through, I'm a technical person, it's the ability to see through why am I here and understand and be able to see that big picture and have a common understanding as a team about why we're really here. I think for me that's a really important thing, is you can get that sense of people understanding why am I in it and what is it that I'm here to really do and be part of something.
And that is a step further, or perhaps a couple of steps further than the technology that you think you're supporting.
I think it's what separates the good operators from the great operators in that sense as well.
And I think it's also the new norm. The technology is changing so fast at the moment that it's more about what people are trying to achieve rather than the technology itself, because that thing will be obsolete in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, it will be.
Look, just wanted to say thank you very much to Dirk and Kelly as well for coming on and participating in this forum. So I hope you guys liked it. More than willing to basically reach out to these guys if you have any questions, or myself, I can definitely ask these guys as well. But once again, thank you so much, Kelly and Dirk. This has been invaluable having you guys on and participate and spend some good hour or so, I don't know, today. But thank you very much.
That's a pleasure.
You're welcome.
Thanks for having us, Jareth.